The airport was chaos. People surged around us, suitcases rattling over tiles, voices muffled into an indistinct roar. My parents gripped my hands tightly, one on each side, pulling me forward like I might vanish if they let go. I tried to keep my eyes ahead to follow the signs in the crowd, but something caught my attention. A figure. At first, he was just a flicker on the edge of my vision, a small figure standing still while everything else rushed past. I turned to look, but my parents tugged my arms forward. I stumbled, looking down at my hands to steady myself. They were different, larger. My parents still held on, but their grips felt looser, like they weren't trying as hard to pull me along. I was taller. "Mom!" My voice barely came out, like the sound was trapped in my throat. My parents didn't react. They kept moving, their heads swiveling as though confused about where to go. I glanced back again, and this time I saw him clearly. The man was tall, his white suit almost glowing against the sea of movement around him. His hat was even taller, a cylinder tipped in black as though someone had dipped it in ink. The black shimmered faintly, the edges sharp against the pristine white. He didn't move, didn't speak, but then his hand rose, long and gloved, and he pointed. When I turned back, everything had shifted. My parents looked older. My mom's hair was streaked with gray, her face lined with wrinkles I didn't recognize. My dad's shoulders were hunched, his steps slower. A baby was strapped to my mom's chest, its small hands waving in the air. My chest tightened, panic prickling the edges of my mind. "Wait, what's happening?" I tried to shout, but no one turned. The words were trapped inside me, suffocating. The pull to look back was irresistible. Now the man was closer, impossibly taller, his head brushing the ceiling of the terminal. The blackness on his hat had spread, thin tendrils creeping down onto his shoulders. It was alive, shifting subtly like ink spreading through water. His gloves and the lower half of his suit remained untouched, but the contrast was sharp, wrong. I turned forward again, my hands trembling. My parents were almost unrecognizable. Frail and gaunt, their movements slower, more uncertain. The baby was gone, replaced by a toddler holding my father's hand. The weight in my chest grew heavier, a leaden panic I couldn't shake. The pull came again, stronger this time. When I looked back, the man was a giant. His entire torso was engulfed in black, the tendrils now writhing like smoke trapped in water. The darkness seemed to radiate from him, warping the air, but his face and smile were unchanged. That smile, it was kind, patient, almost warm, even as it was framed by the spreading corruption. I didn't want to look forward anymore, but I had no choice. My parents were gone. The airport stretched endlessly ahead of me, hollow and cold. I caught my reflection in the polished floor and froze. My hands were pale and withered, my back stooped. I was old. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." I turned back, desperate. The man now consumed everything. The blackness had spread beyond him, blotting out the walls, the ceiling, even the crowd. The last traces of white clung faintly to his smile, but his form was more shadow than substance now, writhing and infinite. He sat in the center of the terminal like a throne of smoke, impossibly massive, his head tilted slightly as though watching me. The world unraveled. I was falling now, swallowed by the dark. My body felt weightless, my mind untethered. Everything I knew dissolved into silence. But ahead in the abyss, a single point of light remained. His smile. It hovered there, a beacon in the void. I crawled toward it, my hands grasping at the blackness, my limbs shaking with the effort. The smile grew closer, brighter, filling me with a fleeting warmth I couldn't explain. But just as I reached for it, my fingers trembling in the air, the smile shifted. It turned away, and so did I. My body twisted without my permission. My gaze forced forward into the endless dark. The warmth faded, the smile gone, and then there was nothing.